And with a closer look at Premier's report and its highlights, joining us now is Haiyan Wang. She is a managing partner at the China-India Institute here in Washington, D.C. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
First of all, I'd like to get your reaction to the numbers. A 7% growth rate for 2015. Is it really more about quality and not quantity?
Definitely, definitely. I think that with China being a close to $10 trillion economy, to expect a 10% growth year after year is just not realistic. And I think that very much 7% or even slightly lower than that in terms of real GDP growth, it's still the fastest growing or amongst the fastest growing economy in the world. If China can maintain that kind of a rate of growth, and adjust the economy, making an economy of a high quality growth, more balanced economy, and I think that's quite an achievement.
Yeah, a lot of countries would love 7% growth
definitely.
a year. We've been hearing a lot the last day or so about the new normal.
Yeah.
What do you make of the new normal? What's your interpretation of it and the message behind it?
I think that the new normal is just not a slower growth for 2015. I interpret that as the state of growth for many years to come. And I also think that the new normal is exactly the contrast to the old normal. The old normal is double-digit growth, growing at all costs. The new normal is a more balanced growth. It's more healthy growth. It's a less energy-intensive growth. It's a more green growth. And I think that the new normal, to achieve that, is exactly what China needs, and it requires very painful reform, actually, to achieve the new normal. Some people may think, okay, China's economy is slowing down to 7%, but achieving that 7% and achieving a balanced economic growth and adjusting the economic model is actually extremely challenging. So new normal is not an easy route for China at all.
And it's something that they want to get the message across, not just in the country, but
Absolutely.
internationally as well, because a lot of people have been looking to see what would come out.
And I think that this message should be welcomed by outside world, because I think the days of China growing heavily dependent on investment-led growth, heavily on export growth, those days are long gone. Were China to continue that path, China's share of global exports would go up to 20–30%. No country would welcome that. As China shifts towards the new normal of relying more upon domestic consumption, opening up the domestic consumption for imports, that should be good news to the outside world, to other economies.
Let's talk about this free trade zone strategy that's been discussed as well, and implementing more of these around the country. How does this all fit in and contribute to the long-term plan for growth in China?
I think that this fits in to the overall blueprint of reform and opening up to the outside world, of integrating China's economy to the whole world economy. That is the whole strategy. It's not so much of the strategy of imposing China's power on the regional stage or on the global stage, but more integrating China's economy to the global economy. China being the fastest, almost the fastest growing economy, and the neighboring countries in ASEAN, in India, are also fast growing economies. And fast growing economies tend to do more trade, do more investment. And in the process, China can bring the capital, can bring the know-how, whether it's in infrastructure building or in technology, in capital goods, and benefit the development of neighboring countries. And I see that as absolutely a plus, not just for China, but for the neighboring countries in Asia, in Europe as well.
And you mentioned technology. There's this Made in China 2025 project pushing science and technology. What do you make of that?
I think that given that China's labor force has been shrinking, and given the rise of the labor cost, and China's manufacturing sector has matured to the point that they need to upgrade to the next level of higher value chain to remain globally competitive. That's one. Two, I think that for the enhancement of domestic productivity, to get rid of being stuck in the middle income cap or trap, and China must innovate, develop itself into an innovation-led economy. And I think that by pushing the the smart manufacturing, or in the next wave of manufacturing, intelligent manufacturing, China has the potential to grow productivity, to get rid of or not to be stuck in the middle income trap. And by 2025, we should expect China to be still a very strong manufacturing powerhouse. It's just not labor-intensive manufacturing powerhouse, but more of a balanced and technology-driven, innovation-driven powerhouse.
So overall, so far, you seem very optimistic of what has come out.
I have been very optimistic. I'm also very impressed with the consistency of what's coming out of Premier's work report. Consistency with the long-term development blueprint, consistency with the overall 12 five-year plan, consistency with the full comprehensive that laid out by President Xi. And I also have been very impressed with the emphasis on this year being a crucial year, which gives it a sense of urgency in getting the reform measures down, with a sense of urgency, implementing a lot of policies that have already been laid out in the past.
All right, Haiyan Wang, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining us here.
Thank you very much.
On this show.